Once, the Texas State Fair was the ticket, shoulder to shoulder, full of energy, laughter, and the aroma of fried everything. But today, it's like a ghost town, and it's not only the fair that's different, it's the whole economy. You're looking at opening weekend, peak hours, one of the biggest and most celebrated events in the entire state of Texas. And yet, it's eerily quiet. I've lived in Dallas for more than 22 years. I relocated from New York City, and each autumn, this was the one event everyone anticipated. Teenagers, tourists, families, retirees. The fair was not just a show, it was a Texas tradition. Rich or poor, no one stayed home. But now, you can walk for minutes without brushing shoulders against a single person. The rides are operating, the lights are blinking, machines are whirring. But the crowds? They've disappeared. And before someone leaps in with, "Maybe you shot after hours," take a closer look. The rides are still running. The food booths are open. The music is thumping. But the pathways are deserted. This isn't AI magic. This isn't a technical malfunction in the video. This is the new normal of one of America's longest-running and most majestic fairs. And in good conscience, it's appalling to behold. If you can recall how charged this fair used to be, or if it's all news to you, go ahead and give that like and subscribe for more real-life deconstructions like this one. So, what went wrong? Let's begin simply. One recent visitor to the fair gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. And not because she was being finicky. She listed everything. She paid $22 for a small plate of Wagyu sliders, served between 2 deviled eggs. That's one food product. No fork, no napkin, no lid for the drink. And to add insult to injury, she was nearly not even allowed in through the gate for having on a fanny pack. Because clear bags are now apparently the new norm. While others around her strolled on in with purses, no issue. And then there's another family's experience. They spent more than $100 before they even tasted food, got on a ride, or drank lemonade. That's just entry, parking, and tickets. For many families today, that's a week's groceries. That's a bill for electricity. That's gas money, gone before you even get to have a good time. Consider this, even before you get to enjoy anything, you have already spent a Benjamin. And in the current economy, for most, that's where the day ends. This is not about the cost of tickets, or if the rides are still thrilling. It's a picture of America in transition, and who gets left behind. The fair was once an affordable getaway. Now it seems like a luxury outing. Not long ago, you could bring the whole crew, 4 or 5 kids, ride everything, eat all you want, and leave spending about $50. Now, you'll go through $200 before someone even cracks a smile. A bottle of water? $5? Cold? Charge $6. That's literally a $1 fee for temperature. And yes, I suppose you could make the argument. Vendors have increased expenses now, ingredients, electricity, fuel. Everything's gone up. But that's precisely the problem. The skyrocketing cost of everything isn't just tightening small businesses' budgets, it's breaking families' budgets. And the Texas State Fair is just the most obvious symptom of a much bigger issue. When families begin to forego such delights as funnel cakes and Ferris wheels, it's not because they've lost their enthusiasm. It's because the cost of living has officially surpassed their capacity to keep pace. And this isn't just about food or fun, it's about identity, about losing something that once connected people. The fair used to be a place where kids made memories, where first dates turned into love stories, and where parents brought their little ones to experience something magical. Take that away, and what's left? A handful of overpriced stands and miles of empty walkways. One observer paid particular attention to something else that struck him. The crowd didn't appear as diverse as it had been the previous year. Specifically, Hispanic and Latino attendance plummeted, and that's no accident. These are groups that habitually show up, support, and spend. If they're not showing up anymore, it's not an accident. Perhaps it's fear, perhaps it's price, perhaps it's both. But whatever it is, it's a warning sign. Now let's discuss the footage itself. The one was shot from 1:45 p.m., all the way through to closing. The camera person endured through the sweltering Texas heat, right on into the evening. And what they show proves it all, even outside school hours, even when folks are out of work. The fairgrounds remain deserted. Whole ride zones are empty. Gaps exist between each small group of people. It's not only slow, it's unnervingly quiet. A few may say it was probably just a slow day, or it was too hot, or people rode out another weekend. Yeah, that could account for a bit. But when you put that together with tale after tale of people saying, we just can't afford to go anymore, it paints a much larger picture, one that's difficult to ignore. And to be honest, this isn't all about Texas. This is part of a nationwide trend. Around the nation, fairs, festivals, concerts, restaurants, even cinemas are experiencing decreased patronage. Not because humans lost interest, but because everything is simply too pricey. We constantly hear that the economy is booming, that employment is on the rise, inflation is decreasing, and everybody's doing well. But if that's indeed the case, then why is everything more costly and offering less? Why are families forgoing the one activity they used to wait in anticipation for? That's the disconnect. Statistics tell one story, but life tells a very different one. What you see at the Texas State Fair is not all about the $10 fried Oreos or the disappointing pop-up tent. It's a mirror, one that is reflecting precisely where we stand as a country and depicting who's being left out of the picture quietly. See, folks often don't realize how significant spots like this are. The fair is not all about greasy food and selfies with giant stuffed animals. It's a cultural barometer reading. It's a test of where the typical American family is at. And when families no longer come, you don't need an economist to know that something's amiss. The video already speaks for itself. Idle rides, quiet walkways, waning joy. We're not talking about a small town event here. This is the Texas State Fair, one of the biggest, boldest, and most iconic fairs in the entire country. If this place can't draw a crowd anymore, what chance do smaller towns and local events have? But what hits hardest isn't just the lack of people, it's the lack of life. You used to listen to laughter ringing across the grounds, music mingling with voices, children racing toward the rides. Now, the music still plays, the rides still turn. But the spirit, the energy that made everything feel alive, is gone. That energy, the kind that only happens when folks are really having fun, it's lost. And that's something you can't manufacture. You can't pipe it through speakers or duplicate it with strobing lights and carnival music. People either feel good enough to have fun, or they don't. Let's get real. It's not that everyone simply lost interest in going out. It's not laziness. It's not apathy. It's financial burnout. It's national burnout. Ordinary families, working class, middle class, are just fatigued. Fatigued from performing mental math each time they set foot out the door. Fatigued from swiping their card and quietly hoping the transaction does not get rejected. And when even a basic weekend at the fair becomes a luxury event, folks begin to opt out, not because they don't desire the experience, but because they can no longer afford it. It's rent or rides, groceries or games. And in a fight between survival and nostalgia, survival triumphs. But don't get it twisted. This isn't simply about individual spending decisions. There are bigger forces at work. Increases in housing prices, flat wages, consolidation by corporations. A system that's quietly, steadily pricing ordinary Americans out of their own culture. And sure, some will just shrug and say, well, that's capitalism. But is that truly the America we envision? A nation where the things that have brought us together for so long are now only for those who can pay the admission? Where joy itself is a luxury item? This isn't about blaming the fair organizers or the vendors. Most of them are struggling too. Their costs have gone up. Their profits are shrinking. That's what makes this moment so alarming. We're all on the same sinking ship, just in different cabins. And beneath it all, there's something even deeper happening, something harder to measure. It's the erosion of public trust. Folks are beginning to feel that nothing is really for them anymore. Not their workplace, not their schools, not their neighborhoods, and now, not even their local county fair. When we lose those cultural touchstones, it's not only an economic loss, it's an emotional one. Because now, you've got children who'll never experience what it's like to plead with their parents to attend the fair. Teens who'll never know the thrill of sneaking onto a ride or hitting a game. Parents who won't get to share a tradition that once defined the season. This isn't merely about an economy in shambles. It's about a shared identity in decline. And that begs a far larger question. If this is what 2025 looks like, what do the next 5 years have in store? If families aren't able to afford a decent visit today, how will they afford education, healthcare, and housing tomorrow? Times like these aren't just photographs of where we are. They're signs of where we're going. And as for this video, it's not nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia. It's an alarm. Because while some may scroll over video like this with the thought, it's just one weekend, others recognize what it truly is, a red flag flying in plain sight. And the longer we turn a blind eye to it, the nearer we move toward an America that no longer involves the people who constructed it. The video doesn't lie. Day or night, weekend or weekday, the crowds simply aren't there anymore. And no amount of PR hype or shiny advertising can undo that. Ultimately, people vote with their pocketbooks. And at the moment, that vote is shouting something loud and clear. Right now, the message from the public is loud and clear. They're saying no. But maybe, just maybe, this isn't the end of the story. Maybe this is the wake-up call we've been needing. Maybe this is where people start demanding something better. More transparency, more accountability, and a genuine commitment to serving the communities these events claim to represent. Because here's the truth. People want to come back. They still enjoy the fair. They want to celebrate, to laugh, to overeat, and to create memories with their families. But they have to be able to afford it. They need to feel that their money, their time, and their presence count. So here's my question to you. What's it like where you live? Are you seeing the same thing in your city? Are your fairs, your festivals, your go-to local places getting quieter too? Because if it's happening here in Texas, chances are good it's not an isolated thing. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I really do want to hear your stories and see how widespread this trend is. And if you've reached this far, thank you. Seriously, your focus is everything, particularly at a moment when everyone scrolls over actual stories like this. If this video hit home for you, give it a like. It makes a bigger difference than you realize. And if you want to keep seeing content that shows you what's actually going down on the ground, subscribe for more in-depth dives like this one. Because Texas could just be the start, or the last warning.